Imagine walking into a dark room to fight a professional boxer. But he has night vision goggles, and you're wearing a blindfold. Sounds hopeless, right? Well, that is almost exactly what happened in the skies over Lebanon's Bekaa Valley back in 1982. On paper, this was supposed to be the biggest air showdown on Earth, but in reality, it was a system failure on a scale nobody saw coming. In just 2 hours, 82 Syrian jets were shot down and destroyed. And Israel? They lost zero, not a single one. But here is the part of the story that history books often skim over. The pilots didn't win this fight alone. The real heroes of the day were drones. Let's set the scene. It is June 1982. The Bekaa Valley has become a death trap for any pilot who dares to fly over it. Why? Because Syria, with Soviet help, had built one of the densest and most advanced anti-aircraft networks in the world. They had SAMs, surface-to-air missiles. Specifically, the Soviet-made SA-6. These things were mobile, they were accurate, and they were deadly. If their radar locked onto your plane, it was pretty much game over. The consensus among military experts was clear. If Israel tried to attack these missile sites head-on, they would lose at least half of their air force. Even the Americans warned them, saying, "Don't do it. The cost will be too high." But here's the crazy part. While the world was holding its breath, the Israeli commanders weren't worried. In fact, they were smiling. They knew something nobody else did. They had a secret weapon, a workaround that would change air combat forever. Meet the drones. Now, don't picture the sleek, silent predators or reapers we see today. These were the ancestors. The Israeli Scout and Mastiff drones were basically just glorified radio-controlled planes with cameras strapped to them. Simple, cheap, and expendable. On June 9th, Israel launched its operation, but they didn't send in their valuable F-15s and F-16s first. No, they sent in the drones. They flew them straight into the heart of the danger zone, right over the Syrian SAM sites. From inside the Syrian radar vans, it looked like a massive, full-scale Israeli air raid. Their screens lit up with dozens of blips, all converging on their positions. The Syrian commanders did exactly what the Israelis hoped they would do. They panicked. The order went out. Turn on all the radars! Fire everything you've got! And that was the fatal mistake. Think of a radar system like a powerful flashlight in a pitch-black forest. It helps you see what's in front of you, but it also gives away your exact position to anyone else who's watching. The second those Syrian radars switched on, their locations were instantly pinpointed. Israeli jets, circling safely out of range, were just waiting for that moment. They immediately fired their anti-radiation missiles, specialized weapons designed to hunt and destroy the very radar signals that were guiding the SAMs. In minutes, the electronic eyes of the valley went blind. The impenetrable wall of missiles was gone. Now, Syria had to play its next card. They scrambled their entire air force, MiG-21s, MiG-23s, some of the best fighters the Soviet Union had ever produced. Their pilots took to the skies expecting a traditional dogfight, a contest of skill and nerve. What they got instead was a slaughter. You see, Israel had another ace up its sleeve. High above the chaos, an E-2C Hawkeye aircraft was circling. This plane is essentially a flying command and control center, packed with powerful radar and communication gear. From the moment the Syrian MiGs took off, the Hawkeye tracked every single one of them. It saw their altitude, their speed, their direction. This information was relayed in real time directly to the Israeli pilots. So, while the Syrian pilots were flying blind, their ground radar was gone, their radios filled with static. The Israeli pilots had a perfect, godlike view of the entire battlefield. They knew exactly where the Israeli F-15s and F-16s executed their plan with terrifying precision. They would approach from the enemy's blind spot, usually from behind and below, get a missile lock, fire, and then turn away and disappear before the Syrian pilot even knew what was happening. Many of the Syrian pilots never saw the plane that shot them down. The first and only warning they got was the high-pitched tone in their headset signaling a missile lock. A second later, there was just silence. It wasn't a battle, it was a shooting range. The numbers were just staggering. 1, 10, 20, then 60. By the end of the day, 82 Syrian aircraft were confirmed destroyed, and the Israeli losses remained at 0. The Bekaa Valley was littered with the smoking wreckage of Syria's air power. The shockwave from this one-sided victory traveled far beyond the Middle East. It hit Moscow like a thunderclap. Soviet generals watched in disbelief as their best air defense systems and top-tier fighter jets were systematically dismantled. They had been defeated not by a superior aircraft or a more courageous pilot, but by a superior system built on information, real-time data, coordination, and a handful of cheap, flimsy drones. One high-ranking Soviet officer was later quoted as saying, "The world has changed, and we missed it." Operation Mole Cricket 19, as the Israelis called it, didn't just win a battle.
Bekaa
It
Valley
fundamentally
turkey shoot.
rewrote the rules of
The
air
first
warfare.
time Western air power
It
shattered
proved
a
that in
Soviet
modern
SAM
combat,
shield.
the old metrics of speed, maneuverability, and even bravery were no longer the most important factors. The new king of the battlefield was information. If you can't see the enemy, but they can see you, you're already dead. So the next time you hear that faint buzzing of a drone overhead, take a moment to remember its humble ancestors. Those simple, radio-controlled planes that helped orchestrate the most lopsided air victory in modern history, and forever changed the way wars are fought. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into military history.